everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Emily, and if you don't know who I am, I post videos about scoliosis on TikTok, YouTube, and I occasionally post photos on Instagram. So today I'm making a video on how to deal with your back pain as someone with scoliosis. Now, I actually have two conditions, scoliosis and spondylolisthesis, which is where scoliosis, the curvature of your spine, and then spondylolisthesis, which is where you have your two vertebrae and one of them slips out, pinching your spinal nerve. And so because of this, I've dealt with a great amount of pain, and when I tell you, it is hard. It is super, super hard. But I've learned how to overcome it. I can do whatever I want, and that doesn't mean that your back pain will 100% go away, but I would say over 90% it's gone. I can do whatever I want. Like, for example, now I'm on the track team, and in fact I just got back from track, which I'm still in the car, but anyways, I can guarantee you that your back pain will improve if you follow these tips. At least these are the tips that help me the most, but make sure to consult with your doctor before doing any of these, because this is just what helped from my experience. So let's get into it. The first most important thing, like literally the most important thing above anything else, is engaging your core. You need to engage your core in every single thing you do. That means not only walking, not only running, but when each time you sit down, you have to engage your core. Each time you take off your brace, you have to engage your core. And I know it is hard to engage it when you're wearing your brace all day long. I totally get that, since I used to wear my brace for like about 23 hours a day. But whenever you take your brace off, it is so important to engage your core, because what you don't realize is that whenever you engage your core, you're stabilizing the muscles around your spine, and because of this, your back will hurt less. So one thing to note is that scoliosis creates muscle imbalances, and your deep core muscles are your body's natural internal brace. So when you activate them, you're providing stability and taking immense pressure off of your spine. So that is the most important thing to do. And if you haven't gotten to a stage yet where you can run, or like even go for like a 1 mile walk around the neighborhood, then this next step is for you. Because I was in a spot where I couldn't even sit without pain. Like, I remember this was actually something that was a big deal, but for the longest time, I could not even sit down without pain. I would literally stand up, I had pain. I would sit down, I had pain, and it was terrible. That was a time when it was just like my lowest point, I would definitely say. But after I started physical therapy, I improved my back pain by so much. So that is tip number 2. Specialized physical therapy exercises. I did physical therapy for about 2 years, I would say, and it definitely helped a lot. A general trainer won't cut it, so you also have to make sure that you have a good physical therapist, because I did have to go through 7 physical therapists before I actually got the one that helped me. But I went through 5 at this one clinic, and then at another clinic I went through 2, and finally the last one was one that really helped with my back pain. So it's not a one size fits all. It's kind of like you have to test and see which one will be the most helpful for you. So you need a PT that is also experienced with scoliosis. It would definitely benefit, because if they know your condition, and if they take the time to generalize themselves about your condition and know any like nuance that goes along with your back, they will definitely be more tailored to helping you with your scoliosis. And so one thing I've heard many people online do, which actually I didn't know until I started posting videos about scoliosis, was Schroth therapy. I actually have never done it myself, but I know it's helped so many people. So if you have a place nearby that does that for you, you can go check that out. But I personally have never done it, so I would say go to physical therapy. It does help if they're specialized with the spine, and they address the root cause of your pain, which is the muscle imbalances and spinal structure, with a personalized plan. So you're not just doing random exercises on your own, because if anything, you could just be doing random core exercises at home, but because they are specifically working to fix your back pain, and if you tell them, hey, this hurts my back, then they will get another exercise that actually helps you. And so a few exercises that have worked for my specific curve is these exercises. So the first thing, okay, it's not technically an exercise, but you have to do this in every single exercise, which is the pelvic tilt. So this is what I mean by engaging your core, which is whenever you sit down, you have to engage your core. Whenever you take off your brace or shower, engaging your core is important. But whenever you're doing an exercise, the way you engage your core is by doing pelvic tilt. Okay, so for me, I had interior pelvic tilt, which is where my hips stick out backwards. So instead of being like a straight line, it's sticked out backwards. And because of that, whenever you're doing exercises, it's very easy to create an arch in your back and not actually engage your core. And you may think that you are working out your core, but actually you're not. So let's say you're doing something like sit-ups, for example. Whenever you're laying on the floor, there should not be an arch or a gap between your back and the floor. It should be completely flat. Now just try that on the floor. Just lay on the floor with your knees, or lay on the floor with your knees up like that, and then try to make sure your back is flat. That's already going to be an exercise of itself, especially when you're just starting out. Because I remember I had to get that down before I could move on to any other exercises. Because the most important thing is using proper form, not just doing these exercises mindlessly and not actually improving. The thing is to make sure you have correct form so that you can actually benefit your spine. My physical therapist emphasized mastering this first, because she said that you're gonna hurt your back if you don't do this, or at least this will be the best way for you to make sure that the other exercises will help you. Then the second thing I want to talk about is the bird dog. I had to do this almost every time, but genuinely it was so helpful. It is so you have to think about so many things at once, making sure you have the pelvic tilt and that you're in a straight line. So this goes for everything. So for the bird dog, this helps with stability and balance. So you start on all fours and then slowly extend one arm forward and the opposite leg back. And then you keep your core super tight and your back flat, which is the hardest part. And this targets those deep stabilizers that keep your spine healthy. This really makes sure that you're engaging every single muscle. And then also, you are kind of engaging your glutes, which is important for scoliosis, your hamstrings, and these muscles all work together in this exercise. So you're getting a very good variety of exercises in this one exercise. Then the third thing is cat-cow stretches. This one is wonderful for mobility and flexibility. Gently arching and rounding your back helps relieve stiffness in the morning and increases blood flow to the spinal discs. So this one, I'm gonna be honest, it did kind of hurt at first, but my PT just said to do it and see if it gets better over time, and it did get better over time. But I would always consult with your physical therapist first, or your scroth therapist first, before actually doing these exercises, because you don't want to put yourself in more danger by hurting your back in some way. But I continued doing them, and they actually really helped, because they're stretching your back from all that stiffness you had with your scoliosis brace all day long. Stretching your back out and doing that cat-cow helps. And then number 4 is modified side planks. Standard planks can sometimes put too much pressure on our imbalanced bodies. So my PT taught me modified planks, which is leaning against a wall or with my knees down to build strength on my weaker concave side. So I would do a side plank with my knees on the ground, if that makes sense. And so you're not doing with your legs out, you're doing it with your knees. And this actually helped build my oblique muscles, which is really helpful for scoliosis. And I would also do normal planks, but this is for side planks specifically. So yeah, those exercises really helped me a lot. And the last exercise, I forgot to include this one, but the last exercise is dead bugs. Oh my gosh, this one is so hard when you first start it, but it is honestly so hard because you're engaging your whole entire core, not just like the top core muscles or the bottom core muscles. You're engaging like the whole entire core. What you do is you lay down on your back with both of your feet up as if you're like a dead bug, and then you put your hands up too, and you kind of just like alternate your legs and your arms. You kind of just put your arms down and your legs down, and you alternate. And this one is so helpful for doing that pelvic tilt. So if you want to do any of these exercises, you could start off with the pelvic, or you could start off with the dead bug so that you get the pelvic tilt down, because that is what I did at first, and oh my gosh, it helped a lot. And then my last tip number 3, is relief with Icy Hot. If you're ever in too much pain and the pain, you just need some immediate relief, you can use Icy Hot. Sometimes the muscles around my curve get so tight and sore that they need something immediate and targeted attention. That's when I reach for something that offers hot and cold sensation. So the menthol provides a quick temporary relief exactly where I need it. And this has been super helpful ever since joining my track team. I started off by using Icy Hot on my back all the time, on my lower right back since that's where it hurts, but also my left just in case if it starts flaring up for some reason. But Icy Hot really just, I have like the little rolling stick, not the gel, because the gel, like, you have to wash your hands after all the time, but I have the little rolling stick, and it helps so much. Because if you're ever about to do something, let's say go on a walk, or you're about to like go do something with your friends that requires you to like maybe like walk around the mall, definitely putting Icy Hot on helps. Now this is for whenever you take off your brace, since I know a lot of people don't wear their brace for 23 hours a day, which I didn't wear my brace for 23 hours a day at first. I wore it for about like 14 hours. So whenever I wanted to take it off, I would just put on Icy Hot as well. And then, but since whenever I started reaching 23 hours, like, there's really no point in putting Icy Hot. But if you do take off your brace, or you need to do something that requires like long distance walking, put Icy Hot. It definitely helps so much. So managing scoliosis can be hard. It's a mix of mindful habits like core engagement and daily pelvic tilts, consistent professional guidance from a physical therapist or Schroth therapist, and having relief options for tough days. So which of these tips are you going to incorporate into your routine? Comment down below. I'd love to hear what works for you guys. And if you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell, and remember, you are not alone on this journey. Thank you for watching, and always remember to embrace the scoliosis. Bye!